Hello, Libra, and welcome to your monthly forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. This is going to help you navigate through the month of November, and as always, you can use it for sun, rising, and moon. We have your favorite guest here in the background, Mr. Apollo, just chilling out, taking a nap, listening to what we have to say here. I'm going to get started first and foremost with channeled messages. These come through in dreams and meditation, and the symbol that I saw today for the sign of Libra was a rainbow. To me, this is very auspicious and optimistic. But it does basically affirm or confirm that many of you have been going through a challenging period. Because think of what a rainbow, like how it happens in everyday life. It usually is after the rain or when the sun starts to cut through the rain clouds. I always connect rain with heavier emotions. So it doesn't always have to be sadness. It can be fear or anxiety or stress. But the first thing that I'm really picking up on for you, Libra, is to take some time for yourself. Make sure that you're creating space in your day for rest, ample rest, meditation, exercise. If you are overdue for a vacation and you have it within your means to take one, please do. All of this will help you recalibrate and then see the rainbow that basically then connects you to that pot of gold. That's the other thing that I'm picking up on here. So the hard work that you're doing has not gone unnoticed. This month could very much open up a synchronicity for you where all of a sudden, maybe you had just kind of disconnected and thought, it's not going to happen, or I'm not worried about this. And then opportunity comes knocking, and you do have that sort of pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Think of it, if you will, as a Four of Cups moment. I know that's a strange card to kind of connect with here, but what I'm seeing is if you look beyond what maybe didn't go as expected, or if you look beyond comparing yourself to others, and look at that floating ace in the sky that's a part of the Four of Cups, you could see that there's a blessing in disguise. You could see that everything that you've done in this moment has aligned you to an opportunity. So I'm going to keep an eye out for those hidden opportunities this month. And with that being said, let's go ahead and give the cards a shuffle and see what's coming through. All right, please take a moment, if you will, close your eyes and let go of any existing fears, thoughts, anxieties, anything that you're bringing into this reading, because we really just want to see possibilities absent from those projections. One thing that helps sometimes is to imagine a perfectly blue sky, see the sun shining down, in this case, maybe a rainbow connecting with your heart. And in this energy of light and protection, let's call in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. All right, let's see what's possible. Let's see what's coming through. Already, super exciting that we have two aces here. There's a lot of power cards here, but there are also some reversals in the powerful cards here, such as High Priestess energy. So one of the things that I want to try to help you with is not to second guess yourself. Already loud and clear, I'm seeing that as a potential challenge. All right, let me go ahead and finish pulling the cards, and then we'll break it down. And this one turned itself around, which is super cool. All right, let's begin with your catalyst card here. It says, Court the Subconscious. It's really amazing and interesting that this card flipped to the upright position. It's already reflective in its illustration, and catalyst energy is all about making a necessary change. So this is saying, this month, if you can give yourself time to reflect on something, you're going to be able to understand what makes you tick, because the subconscious is basically what's beneath the surface. You may also be able to intuit what others have to say, because we have the high priestess coming through here, and this was representing self. The thing that gets in the way sometimes is distraction, doubt, or simply not taking the time to be present. So please, Libra, this month, create space in your life. It can be traditional meditation where you're just closing your eyes, breathing, and really paying attention to thought process. Or you could be doing something like talking to a friend or a colleague and just thinking your way through it as you're speaking. This could also be some sort of journaling or introspective work. There's no right or wrong way to basically tune in, but please make time. I think some of you might be so busy or so distracted that you're not giving yourself that necessary insight, which is going to help you turn things around, literally, because that's what happened here. So this month, right off the bat, we see that there could be a chance to get to that, pot of gold at the end of the rainbow by meditating, by turning around your perspective, and as a result, turning around your luck. All right, let's see what else the cards have to say here. Just quickly looking at everything in front of us, I mentioned earlier that it's amazing that we have two aces, one at the center, one is the outcome. I love that the Wheel of Fortune is upright. Some of the changes and modifications that you're making in your life are helping you get to a better state financially, energetically, and just all around, because this represents just changes in your life that can help you sustain and help you thrive. Your biggest challenge, it could either be an emotional extreme or a lack of trust in your intuition. So hopefully I'm helping you not do that as we go through all of this. We can see some clouds here as we're looking at work. So for many of you, whatever it is that you're putting a lot of time and energy to, whether it's school or work or a project, it could also be clouding your vision. So when we go into the expanded forecast, I'll elaborate. The first thing that I want to deal with, however, is your centermost card with the beautiful Ace of Swords kicking things off. All right, we have a myriad of different things that this connects to, all positive, but I want to make sure that I hit on all of the nuances. First things first, I want to talk about contracts. An Ace of Swords in reverse is like taking your pen and circling some things and saying, we need to adjust this or remove this, or I don't understand this. So for any of you that are looking at signing a contract, whether it's buying a big ticket item like a house, signing something like a job contract, if there's anything legal associated with it, make sure that you understand the fine print and know this, that you have a chance to edit or revise. So don't immediately just hit the brakes and say, I don't feel comfortable, I don't want to do this. What you could say is, I like 75% of it, but this point or this piece over here needs to be adjusted a bit. That shows that there's room to move back and forth. And basically what we're seeing here is the ability to find a happy medium. And so negotiation is the word that I was searching for. This is a great time to be diplomatic and to negotiate. Ask questions, absolutely. But at the end of the day, it looks like you're going to be able to land on something that is mutually beneficial. You can also simply say no. Ace of Swords, just like Justice Reverse, is basically, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. If you're interested, do it. Let's not spend a lot of time in the middle. So if you can be very clear on things, unambiguous, that's also very helpful. Finally, this is about taking action. So if you've been dragging your feet on something for a while, this is basically saying now is the time to act swiftly, and also to act with great clarity. And all of these things are associated with the Ace of Swords in reverse. The last thing that I want to say is that if there's any sort of constructive feedback, really lean into the constructive piece so that people feel like you're coming forward with a solution. And when you're looking at your own life, try to look also at the positives, not just the negatives. As we take a look at the crossing card, we have the Empress coming through. First and foremost, this is showing you that you have the power, the energy, the wherewithal to take something to the finish line. We also see mentorship energy coming through loud and clear. And most importantly, this is a time to take care of yourself. The boss energy in the Empress isn't always just about stepping up in a business situation or telling someone what to do. A lot of times it can simply be about organizing your own life. And so when we combine it with that Ace of Swords, this is also about putting it into a plan or a written form. And for many of you, this is sort of like an action plan that's going to help you accomplish whatever it is that you want to do in health, in romance, and also potentially in business. But the fact that it is the Empress, it can also mean that if there is something where you want to spearhead it or step into the boss role, this is the perfect time to do so. One last thing is this can also represent familial healing. So if you want to say something, I love you, I'm sorry, or this upsets me, whatever it is, to someone that matters to you, this is a great time to initiate that sort of healing and allow yourself again at the end of the day to feel like you were seen and you were heard. Now, as we take a look in the deep past, we have overdue success. This is really interesting. Six of Wands typically associated with success and movement, progress. What I'm seeing here is, for many of you, this could go as far back as even a decade, but there was something that you really wanted at the time. Maybe there was too much emotional investment to the point that it clouded your vision, especially since this was in the energy of finance and career and work. What's happened now is you've got the beautiful wisdom that comes with space and time. So whether it's been a couple months, a couple years, a couple decades, you're now at a point where you can recognize an opportunity. You already faced maybe your worst fear rather, which was that it didn't work out initially the way you thought. Now you're more level-headed, you're wiser, and it's going to be easier. I'm encouraging you this time around to go for it again. Whatever it was, maybe you're going back to school. Maybe you're going to go and talk to someone and say, hey, let's go out on a date or whatever. Whatever it was that you wanted to do that was bold, that was important, that you were actually more prepared to do than you thought. This time around, confidence, wisdom, and opportunity meet. What is that other than a synchronicity? So I just see delayed success, but success nonetheless. And when it comes to graduation and going to the soul level after you live your life here on this planet, it doesn't matter how quickly you do it. It's how completely. What did you learn? How fulfilling was it? It doesn't matter where on the timeline it hits. So what I see for you is there's an opportunity coming around again, and it could be in any aspect of your life. Personal, work, education, self-development, doesn't matter. This time around, seize the opportunity. Don't sort of fixate on the perceived failure. It was really just showing you that you weren't ready then, but you are now. Appropriately enough here in the recent past, what we have here is the Nine of Cups. So this is showing me that hopefully by the time the month starts off, there might be something worth celebrating for some of you. But this also shows that historically, maybe there hasn't been enough of an effort on your part to just celebrate the little successes, whatever those might be, all of the little tiny milestones. We fixate so much on the big things that we forget sometimes, just maintaining good health, having a good relationship, enjoying where you work or where you live. Whatever the little tiny successes are, those are just as important. Take some time to enjoy life as well. This could simply be reading a book, taking a longer walk with the dog, taking a hike, hanging out with a friend and seeing a movie. Have some fun. Now, when we combine these two, though, it is really powerful. This is something that didn't work the first time. This is wish fulfillment, and sometimes it takes a couple of attempts, but success is sweeter sometimes when it comes further down the line. There's a really interesting connection between the crowning card, near future, and hopes and fears, because we see basically success twice. I mentioned it's coming around again. The Wheel of Fortune is exactly that. We have wish fulfillment. We have a change for the better. With success often comes, Six of Wands, Seven of Wands, a little bit more pressure, which sometimes can get into your headspace. Let's talk about this, and let's also compare it with the traditional Seven of Wands to give you some clarity. Okay, so in this reimagined version, we have a group of people working together, a tribe, an army, basically a community, if you will. This is in sharp contrast to the Rider-Waite-Smith card, where there is one person trying to do it all on their own. So first things first, work smarter, not harder. Don't feel like you have to be the one that is in the weeds doing everything. Avoid micromanaging. And if you are in the presence of someone who is a micromanager, push back and say, this can be done quicker and more efficiently and with fewer errors if we work together. So you're going to help set them into the right path. So that's the first thing here. Work smarter, not harder. Realize that you may feel a little bit stressed out, but that's coming through because success is in the midst. It's happening. It's going to continue happening. And this is a test here. It's a little bit of a pressure test. Work smarter, lean on the support of others, and push back on people that are sort of averse to sharing the load and sharing the love as well. Because sometimes people are trying to kind of like do it all to show that they're, it's kind of like, it's a martyr syndrome sometimes, but like, look at all this that I had to do and I had to stay late and everything. And when I was a manager, I would often think, but what are you doing that's causing yourself to not work so efficiently? Or what's happening where we're putting too much on your plate? To me, it wasn't impressive. It was more a sign that, I love the work ethic, but it shouldn't be something that's a 24/7 sort of thing. So suffice it to say, there's a better way, and it seems like it's with the help of others. Delegation, cooperation, collaboration. This will help this Wheel of Fortune be much more sustainable. And we do see things turning for the better here. The Wheel of Fortune represents cyclical shifts in your life. I mentioned something didn't happen quite the way you wanted before. However, we're seeing a wish coming to fulfillment here. And now we see here, it's just a matter of believing in yourself and knowing that it can sustain. We don't always have to wait for another shoe to fall, for something to go wrong, etc. The reason it didn't work before is you weren't ready. The reason it will work now is because it's a different time, it's a different place, you're different energetically. This is an important time for money, business, and financial matters. So we'll dig deeper into that when I look at wealth, but suffice it to say right now, get a firm handle on your money, and also don't be intimidated when it comes to conversations or questions around that. That's why we have power cards here in the center. So a good news card, a revisionary or outspoken card, ultimate, like one of the ultimate power cards, and then success. Taking ownership over your money, speaking up when it comes to business and finance, taking the steering wheel and saying, this is where I want to go. Not feeling like you have to carry the weight of the world on your own, and knowing that you've got this. You weren't ready before, but you're ready now, okay? Believe in yourself. Believing is seeing, so you have to believe in yourself first, and the subconscious thing, this can be the shadow of fear that might be there. This reminds me a little bit of the Moon card. So really digging into your emotions and healing the past is going to be important. That's going to help you with this. So we have High Priestess energy coming through. She's reversed, but she's one of the best cards, obviously, in tarot, with connecting to the truth of the matter, to seeing through any sort of mirages or facades in front of you. There could be someone in your midst, in your environment, that is trying to fool you or trick you, but you're going to be able to see through this, and you're just going to say no. Speak up and trust your instincts. Only work with people that you want to work with. Only hang out with people that you get a good vibe off of. And more importantly, when it comes to ideas, I get them all the time. When I wake up, when I'm walking the dog, when I'm taking a shower, I do my best to go to my phone or go to a notepad and scribble it down. I would love you to channel your intuition into a physical form. This is the download. This is the written version of it. Again, it can be voice memo. It can be an actual notepad. It can be telling someone so that they don't, somehow getting it out there so that you can then act on it later. Spiritual, intellectual, personal development, psychic development. This is a time to learn. You can really soak things up, but I want you to trust yourself. That's the number one takeaway here, because you're already in the flow as long as you trust your instincts. We have a really interesting card that came through here in the environment, Six of Pentacles. So if we look at this particular illustration, we can see this really passionate embrace here and kind of getting lost in the moment. It's in sharp contrast to the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card, which shows a little bit more of an objective point of view. It's give and take, and it's also realizing that you have to save a little bit of time and energy for yourself. The battery, it's kind of like your phone. You shouldn't let your phone go beyond 20%. Really, you should charge it at the 60% mark. But if you go all the way to zero, it damages the battery, certain types, like phones, for instance. But even with electrical vehicles, I think it's the same thing. There's a certain point where you don't want to overcharge and you don't want to extinguish the charge. Our body's the same way. If you push yourself to the zero mark, 0%, oftentimes the next day you have to sleep all day or you end up getting a cold. We really need to, this is why, for instance, this month I took longer on the videos. I've learned, I'm not feeling well, so I'm going to take it easy. I can still get it done by the end of the month, and I'll be healthier, and I'll be able to continue working on the things that I'm passionate about. It took me a long time to not push myself beyond my health limits. I've learned my lesson. Please take a note from me and do the same. Say no when you need to. You can't please everybody. You can't be everywhere at once. You're not going to be able to do everything all the time. So balance, discernment, delegation. Balance is at the core of Libra, but this month you really want to do it for yourself, okay? Give and take. Also, we're looking at reciprocity, and there may be someone around you that is very persuasive, because High Priestess is persuasive. This is a really passionate card, and they may have a way of sort of getting into your energy and making you feel guilty. So this could be a parent, a friend, someone who loves you and knows that you love them and knows that they can get away with stuff. So this month, really making sure that you are having those boundaries and limits in the sort of closest of relationships as well. That's going to save you in the long run. We talked about this a moment ago. 9 of Swords, what's keeping you up at night? For some of you, it might just be that you're working too hard, getting up early, staying up late, trying to do too many things. Let some deadlines go. Push back. If it doesn't make sense, again, that's one thing that you can do. There could also be interruptions in sleep. So maybe it even has a health component. Are you drinking too much caffeine? Could there be, sleep apnea? Might there also be some stress that you don't give yourself time to meditate or sort of like channel during the day, so at nighttime it's kind of going through your head? All of these things are comprised within this particular card. The good news with 9 of Swords is it feels bigger than it is. Emotions are intense, and by the way, the 9 of Cups can be the other end of that coin. So we're seeing 9 of Cups, 9 of Swords. Those are two extremes. We want to meet somewhere in the middle. The card that I just talked about here, the 6 of Pentacles, is helping you balance it out. So it doesn't have to be like jumping off the roof happy, and it doesn't have to be like end of your, everything, like Chicken Little, the sky is falling. It's somewhere in between. So trying to avoid extremes this month is going to be very, very important as well. A final note on this, and I'll talk a little bit more when we get into health, but this can also have to do with the quality of your bed, your pillows, or your sleeping environment. So we really want to fortify that, make it feel like it is your sanctuary away from everything. I'll dig into that a little bit deeper when we get into health, but the last thing that I want to touch upon here is your outcome card, which is another ace. So some of you have dueling aces this month. One thing which you're already kind of in the middle of, and then a new idea or opportunity that's knocking on the door. So that's why when we were talking about balance, it's going to be important to figure out how much time to invest between possibly two equally important opportunities or projects. This also has to do with vitality, that feeling that you have when you get up in the morning. Are you feeling charged, or are you feeling depleted? We keep going back to the battery metaphor. If you're depleted, we just talked about it, it's touching the sleep quality and quantity card. It could be that. But it could also simply be how passionate or connected you are to whatever it is that you're spending most of your time doing. So if you're working in a job where you feel like, it's just completely exhausting you mentally and physically, that's where you want to focus. If there's a relationship or an activity where you keep putting a lot in but you're not getting a lot back, that's going to be your point that you want to focus on. Okay? Don't overthink. That's the last thing with the Ace of Wands. It's already more prepared and more ready for you to move forward than you might think, but you're getting in your headspace too much. Follow through on the intuition and the creative muse when it comes, and don't get too sort of lost in thought. I know as a fellow Libra, sometimes that can be challenging, but this month, just trust and go with the flow. Let's expand this and go deeper into health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to start off first with health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. Looking into the energy of health, we have this beautiful swan card, and it carries with it 3 focal points for you. The first one is love. The second one is allure, and the other one is purity. So love showing up as, really, first of all, loving yourself. Love begins within. It's like the Ace of Cups overflowing. When you work on that love and personal acceptance, it puts you in this position of power and empowerment, and it draws other people to you, whether they want your mentorship, your time, or your love as well. You may also be deciding to put a little bit more energy into the relationships you care about the most. and that's fine. The allure piece is showing just how powerful and magnetic you are in this period as well. Don't second guess your ability to create, to attract, and to execute on your dreams, okay? And then we also have here purity. Keep it simple and really do things that are not overly complicated. When I think of, it's kind of like ingredients in food. When it starts to get too processed or too dense, it's harder for you to digest. It's harder for you to deal with. We're looking at health. Maybe that's part of it here, is to go to pure types of food and really make sure that you're not subjecting yourself to too many chemicals, dyes, or additives. So love yourself, focus on feeling powerful and alluring, and focus on purification, purifying your food, clearing your environment, keeping it simple. Now let's see what else is coming through in the general spread here. Standard disclaimer, I'm looking at energy. If things are going on in your body, work with the appropriate professional. Emotions, loud and clear here, because this card says court the subconscious. So for many of you, there could be things that you pushed beneath the surface or that you didn't even know that were there. But once you touch upon them in therapy or in other sort of ways that help you deal with it, then you can suddenly find that sense of being empowered and not feeling overwhelmed. And we definitely get that energy here of feeling like there's just a lot that you're dealing with. Again, if we go to the traditional Seven of Wands here, some of this could just be about not working so hard, not putting so much on your own plate, right? By the way, with this card, when we're looking at something that you're starting that's brand new, you don't want to overdo it. Sometimes with this, you can end up pulling a muscle or pushing yourself to the point of getting sick or fatigued. We want to avoid extremes with the Nine of Cups. This can be doing anything to the maximum, overworking, overeating, over-worrying. We want to avoid the extremes. Moderation is your friend. We didn't get temperance, but it should be like right on top of this with all of these sort of extreme cards here. What else? I think that you may actually be able to feel, diagnose, or intuit something going on in your body before it comes all the way to the surface. It's kind of like when you feel yourself getting sick, something that I had to deal with a couple weeks ago. I knew about 2 days before. I'm like, something scratchy here. I'm a little tired. I bet you I'm coming down with a cold. I did everything I could to negate it, but there's some times where you just feel it coming, right? So pay attention to that and start to take care of yourself. Please, please, please focus on sleep. Sleep quality, sleep quantity. And if anything is out of sorts there, you want to work with your professional. Start with your general practitioner first and foremost. Get moving, just any type of movement that works great for you. We actually see swimming in this card, so that might actually be very advantageous. And otherwise, it's actually pretty good. The vitality piece, I think, is connected to stress management and sleep quality and quantity. Let's move on. Let's go to the energy of wealth, which is opportunities in your life here. We have the clouds, and we have this eye which is looking through the clouds. So something is obscured, something could be confusing. I would even connect this with the Seven of Cups, where the person's looking at all the stuff in the sky thinking, where do I get started? So get the clarity you need. Now, this is also a dreamy card, and I like that aspect of it. So allow yourself to basically explore your dreams, your passions, your intuition, and then ground it eventually. We don't want to get lost in the clouds, but I do think there is something to being a dreamer and a visionary. It's just about making sure, like I said, that you record it. Later, you can sharpen the vision. And that's the last thing. There might just be too much that you're trying to do at once. I kind of get the vision of the kitchen sink. So when it comes to a goal in front of you, it would be better to break it down and say, here's the end goal. Here are the steps in order to do it. I'm going to start with this step. I'm not going to do all 5 of them at once. I'm going to begin with number 1. So that's why I think creating some sort of a tangible plan of action or whatever is going to be really, really important. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at this in 3 major categories. And some of them have a few people, so I'll talk about it. We're going to start with those that have a traditional job. I'll also pair in entrepreneurs there. Then we'll look at job seekers. Then we'll look at students and retirees. Let's begin with people that work at a company and have like a standard schedule of some sort. First things first, it does feel like for some of you, leadership may be lacking. This is just like a lot. And that's why perhaps some of you feel like there's too much on your plate. The good news here, we saw it in this particular illustration, is there's power in numbers. So I do feel like you have the capacity this month to rally support with other peers so that you don't have to do all of this. We want to work smarter, not harder. I think it's really important this month to talk about budget, finance, and schedules. And if you're not getting what you deserve, you have a chance this month to successfully turn it around. Celebration and success are coming through here, but it does require articulation. The other thing here is you might be also soliciting, we'll talk about this more for those that are in a business, but even if you are like an entrepreneur, but even if you're in a regular job, you might be trying to get good feedback in order to show support for you to maybe like head up a project, or again, if it's time for a promotion, it seems like there's support, but it might be a matter of having some people go to bat for you, okay? Other things that I see, just a desire to want to have more of a creative say or input, and you do have what it takes. This time around, don't be afraid to speak up, raise your hand, and go for it. There may also be a couple of projects or opportunities in front of you. What I like here, one of them is a lot easier to connect with. One of them is a little bit more stressful. You've got to weigh it out, but I actually feel like this is the one to go for, the one where it's naturally happening. You're thrown into it. Sometimes opportunity finds you. I recently had something where I just got contacted by someone out of the blue, and I'm like, oh, this is exactly what I've been looking for. Yes, let's proceed. I'm open to synchronicities when they feel right, because sometimes on a subconscious level, you're projecting like, let's make this happen, and you may not even be aware of it until you meet that opportunity. You shouldn't have to work too hard at something to make it break through this month. That's my big takeaway here. If it's too much work, go for the place where the energy is more open, okay? But I do like that we have Wheel of Fortune here. The Six of Pentacles also shows me that it's worth asking for what you think you deserve. You may not get everything, but you could get a lot of it. So be reasonable, be passionate, and go for it, okay? Entrepreneurs. So if you are self-employed, own your own company, or work in a small group of people but have a big say, let's see what's going on there. Well, first of all, just you're in the right place at the right time. Your passion is what's going to bring progress and money. It feels like you should be sort of more front and center. So sometimes if you own a business, you may have a brand name or whatever, and like you're buried in the about page or something on the website. You should be more a part of the marketing or more involved with it at the very least. People will connect with you. Your face is part of your brand and it's part of your power. The other thing here is really listen to the instincts, particularly when it comes to what the next move should be. Because there's countless times where I just think, gosh, I really should have listened to my instincts on that person, that project, that opportunity. This month, don't set yourself up for that. Just do it if it feels right and say no if it doesn't. I think that some of you may be stressed out because of this newfound success, but it's okay. Again, it's a different, I talked to the last sign about this a little bit, but it feels like the environment has changed so radically around you that you're very, very much ready for this time around. If you don't feel it, don't do it. That's the last thing. Overall, I think you're actually tracking pretty well. This is the core card that I look for success financially or energetically. I think the main thing here is really just weigh out the cost, stress-wise and energy-wise when you're doing anything. And as long as you're feeling some sort of a return, continue. But I do think there's a chance to be a little bit more discerning and maybe just pull back a little bit on some things. Overall, you're poised for success. It might be time to delegate or hire someone new as well. Okay, let's move on. If you're job seeking, this card feels heavier than it needs to be because I actually see two opportunities in front of you. There's a lot of people that are kind of applying for the same role here with the Seven of Wands. Competition is what I was going to say. Definitely competition. What can set you apart from others is clear communication, because some people are not clear on what they're doing, So if somebody says, why are you a fit for this company, or what are your personal goals? I really want you to be ready for those types of questions. There are questions that always are asked at interviews. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What's your biggest strength? What's your biggest weakness? What drew you to this company? And also they're going to ask you, do you have any questions? Be prepared for all of those. And when you come forth and you're not hesitating, you're like, oh, that's a great question. And I have, you don't have to say I have a great answer, but say, I have a few ideas here, and then just go through them. This is going to show preparation, confidence, and that you took it seriously. That's really what can help you out. I see an opportunity for 2 jobs. One of them definitely comes with more stress and possibly less money. One of them actually seems like they have a better paycheck, but it is more contested. There's more people going after this. Don't second guess your experience or your ability to get this one. The only thing that could take you out of the running is lack of confidence. They want a confident leader. Okay? The other one, it feels like there's too much. This one is very much kitchen sink, where I read the job description and I have no idea what it is. Or I'm looking at the company and I'm thinking, what does this company do again? So if one of them is obtuse or obscured, no to that. If the other one really is looking for a leader, you need to show up feeling like you are that leader, okay? Now, for those of you that are students, you're actually in a really good trajectory. I get that you're working hard right now, but some of you have a double major, double minor, because I see the 2 forks in the road here. I think that's fine, but it could be a lot, so make sure that it may be a better case to focus on a major and a minor than doubling up, because it could be more, you're biting off more than you can chew here. So really kind of sort it out and decide, if the next semester, if you want to continue that. I think it's good to try, but it feels like you're going to eventually land on one focal point. Speaking of which, I feel like there's too much going on. There needs to be a little bit more time to ground yourself, whether that's in exercise or talking to your counselor, or just organizing the credits in such a way that it's not too intense. If I think back to college, there were some semesters where I just put too much pressure on myself, and then I learned, I'm like, okay, this is going to be a meaty class. This is a semester where I'm going to do a little bit more in my minor or my electives, so I can pad it a bit. I don't want to have 6 courses that are constantly stressing me out. You can do 2 or 3 and then round out the rest. Be kind to yourself, folks, please. All right, for those that are retired, this is a perfect time, actually, to focus on doing some things that lighten up the stress in your life. I feel like some of you it's kind of pulling back a bit from social engagements. There's a lot of people here. This card is reversed. You may be feeling the pressure to show up to all of these events. Maybe your partner wants you to show up to a lot of events. What I'm getting with this is pick and choose. There's too much on your calendar. Doing more creative or self-growth oriented tasks are really what you want to focus on. Intuitive development, artistic expression, that's where your energy is. Yes, look at your money. It's a good time. I actually feel like you're poised for balance and success overall, but there's some stuff stressing you out either emotionally or socially, and that needs to be dealt with first. And anything you can do to get excited about waking up in the morning. This can, again, it could be a volunteer opportunity, it could be a relationship, it could be a passion project. What lights your or ignites your heart space? That's really what you want to focus on in this moment in time. Speaking of passion, let's take a look at love and relationships. Breath comes through. It says, find your breath. I would have probably titled it breathe, but it's both. Sometimes we move so quickly that we don't take time to be present, to breathe in the moment. And if you feel like you've lost your clarity on something, it might also be because you're not breathing. You've lost your breath as well. There could also be someone coming in taking your breath away. I love that. For those of you that are looking for love, this is really, really good because it almost looks like the tree of life that you would see in the Ten of Pentacles. So this could mean something that's really going to be substantial, that could last. So find your breath, breathe, take a moment here to really be present and to enjoy. And that's true of all types of relationships. Whether it's you're a parent and you're looking at your children and you just want to drink in this moment, yes. If you have someone in your life that's struggling and you just want to make the most of the moment, absolutely. If let's see, Apollo's behind me, yes. If you have a beautiful pet like I do, and you just want to make sure that you enjoy each and every moment, yes, please do that. Time is precious. We don't get guarantees with these sorts of things. So it's important to take a moment to say, I love you. We're going to do that with Apollo right now. Hey, Apollo. Love you, buddy. Yes. Good boy. Yes. It only takes a minute and you'll never regret it. All right. So show your love. Say, I love you. Take a moment. That's something that I'll never regret. Just scratching his belly and saying, you're a good boy. All right, let's go ahead and focus now on 3 major categories. We're going to first take a look at those of you that are in a relationship, then we'll look at those that are seeking love, and then we'll follow up with those that are single and happy. Okay, if you're in a current relationship, one thing that I'm picking up on is, again, it could be things from childhood or from the past here, particularly parental, divine feminine energy. This could be mother, sister, aunt, etc. There's something there that is wanting to come to the surface, an opportunity for healing, something that could be said or done. It could also be your partner too, but what we see there could also be control dynamics. So let's lean into that next. So when Empress energy comes through in a relationship read, sometimes what happens is we step into the role of boss or parent, and it's not always fun. It's not fun for us. It's not fun for the partner. So what you want to be instead is just the support. Right? This is the tree here saying, I've got your back, and reminding yourself and your partner to take a deep breath. That presence and that the presence is the present to the partner. You don't have to do anything more than to be there sometimes. You can ask, how can I help you? But you don't have to go into the Mr. or Mrs. Fix-It mode, which is often what the Emperor or the Empress card tries to do. Communication is central. I like that it's in the center of the spread. It could be a little bit more on the critical side. So again, keeping it constructive is very key. There's a lot of social energy that's coming through here, and there are a lot of eyes on you. I use the word optics. It just means people are looking. So you may be trying to keep up an appearance. You don't owe anybody that. The most important relationship is the one between you and your partner. What family and society and neighbors think, it's really none of their business or your business. So you focus on you. It's really important to look at financial planning this month. If you have a family, or even if it's just the two of you, this could be trust and will planning. And I know that that's not a very sexy thing to talk about, but it's a very intimate and a very kind and a very loving thing. If you really care about yourself and your partner, you want to make sure that they're taken care of when you're gone. So especially if there are children in the picture, take care of that this month, because this is a legal card. This is a financial card. This is a power card. So you're going to get on top of that, right? It might even be decisions on how you want to be taken care of if you should fall ill. All of those things are present here, and it takes pressure off of your partner because they know your wishes, okay? Very important, very heavy thing to come through, but that's what I'm picking up on. What else? A celebration. There could be a marriage. There could be, a party, a birthday or something like that. Have some fun with that. Please enjoy that. These are the important things. Like I just took a moment to pet my dog. All of that matters. I think that this month you can see a problem or challenge before it kind of comes to the surface. Be proactive about that and kind of step in. And again, be the support. You don't have to fix it. You can just say, hey, what can I do? I see this is going on. Is there anything that I can do? And that's all you have to do sometimes. If there's stress going on, remember, only so much can you absorb, only so much can they take. There has to be a point where maybe you find an external person or a way to kind of like deal with this. So open up the lines of communication, seek out help when you need it, try to avoid stepping into the role of boss, mother, parent, etc. This one's really important. It is about intimacy. Intimacy, I always like to stress, is not just about the bedroom. It's also about time spent together and the things that you share in your life together. So this could just be an encouragement to rekindle the spark. And in an existing relationship, this could be maybe taking a class together, like a cooking class, or planning a trip for a couple months down the line. Doing something where you're both getting excited about it. It's, again, not necessarily just the physical connection. It's the intellectual stimulation. It's the timeline where you're saying, I care about you and I want to do this with you and I can't wait. That gets the engine running. That gets things moving in the right direction. And that could be a lot of fun as well. And I think that just helping one another create better balance in your lives is going to be key. Making time for your friends, your family, and your loved ones across the board. Okay, so fairly manageable. The last thing that I would say here too is slow down. Just slow down a little bit, rest a little bit more as well. Okay, it's more a health thing, but it can help you in the relationship. Now let's take a look at those of you that are looking for love. Can you find it? If you're seeking love, yes, comma, ... But what I'm seeing here is there needs to be some decompression first. Nine of Swords is definitely a stress-related card, and what we want to do in this moment is do anything that you can to alleviate or to eradicate some of that, so that, not eradicate, but to neutralize that, so that you can really recognize an opportunity when you see it. You may just be too much kind of, and I think it is an overflow from work or other parts of your life, too clouded in the vision to see the opportunity when it's coming. So stress management, health management, and that's the most important thing. I also think many of you are busy. This shows a lot on your plate. This shows work and money going in the right direction. This shows you sort of centrally, like in the mix with all of that. So I think the main thing here is creating some space in your life. The type of energy that's coming through is someone who probably sees you first. We have Empress energy, which is someone who's really outspoken. It's almost as if they don't really want to show the sign, which is fine, because like many other readers, I don't think we should discount someone just because of a sign. I think you don't even know what they have to offer. You don't know all the other placements. You don't know the role that they're going to play. So this is saying, let go of that and focus on this. Do you feel the mutual spark? If you feel it, good. If you don't force it, don't fake it. It's either there or it's not. And that's all you need to focus on with this. You shouldn't have to convince yourself to love someone or to feel attracted to someone. It needs to be there on the onset. The way to meet someone, it's someone from the past. I feel like there is a past connection for some of you, or it's someone that you meet in public. So either a past connection coming back around again, or through work, social, or even like, it could even be like, church or something like that. You're going to meet someone in a social setting, so get out. I'm not necessarily seeing apps here. This seems like it's more of an organic meeting that would come through, okay? But we need to kind of focus on creating the balance in work life, because that's what we have here, work and stress, and then a card here with scales, at least in the traditional illustration here. So you have to find the balance there. Focus on your thoughts, because they manifest. So if you think to yourself, I am ready now, I am worthy now, and I'm open to seeing what the universe has to offer, you're going to see it. But if you think to yourself it's never going to happen, then all the clouds come in. Even though we're looking at this in wealth, it's worthiness. So we want to focus on that. Breathe, let go, let the clouds pass, see what the universe has to offer. But I think that there might be someone that comes in and it's more of a friend energy than a love energy. And again, don't push it. Okay, if you are single and happy, good for you. In this moment in time, there is so much success that wants to come through. In money, in work, in personal and psychic development. There are multiple ideas that are coming across your third eye. It's just a matter of where you want to put your energy. I feel like you could be juggling a couple of really great things at once. And you can do all of that if you delegate properly, okay? It's a great time to be single and happy. The only thing here, again, is stress management. It comes through for everybody at every sort of level of health, wealth, love, and destiny. So suffice it to say, take care of yourself. All right, let's move to the next portion, which is destiny. And we have the rose garden here. Let's look at this card in the upright position. Roses have thorns. Roses require work in order to bloom. Take time to really put your energy into nurturing yourself and nurturing one of your passions this month. Again, we got possibly two coming through. We also have this beautiful symbol here where you see the caterpillar and then the butterfly, and she's somewhere in between. So that's chrysalis, right? So with this card in reverse, it's about coming out of your shell, and just like a butterfly that is trying to escape from the chrysalis or the cocoon, it requires a little bit of effort. But once you do that, once you take that first step, momentum picks up. So In one of the decks that I have, the Kim Krantz deck, the Wild Unknown, I believe that the Eight of Swords, the blindfolded card, is a butterfly just about ready to leave chrysalis. So that's what this reminds me of, is that step just before a breakthrough. You don't see it, but you feel it. And I want you to trust what you're feeling. The breakthrough is real. The opportunity is palpable, and it's right there on the horizon. And we have the Wheel of Fortune in the near future, okay? So continue your momentum. You're headed in the right direction. Now let's take a deeper dive, and we're going to look at sun, rising, and moon sign messages, especially for all of you that are cross-watching. So let's see what's coming through in Libra, sun, rising, and moon. Sun, rising, and moon. All right. So for sun, we have the Five of Wands. Five of Wands in reverse. So working smarter, not harder, coming through again. And in addition to that, collaborating, not competing. And there's power in numbers. So we have people here sort of picketing or protesting. And this is where you don't have to do it alone. If there's something that's wrong, work with others to fix it. This card can also simply represent duplicative efforts. So if you're in a job or even like in a relationship and it feels like everybody's trying to do everything at once, it's not very productive, right? And it's time to sort of look at a better division of labor, a better use of time. So time and energy management keep coming through, especially in Libra Sun. So please pay attention to that. This is also one step away from success. And sometimes when we're at that final mile mark, you start to lose inspiration. You already have the extra ace here. So success is yours, but you have to take it through the final leg of the journey, of the race. So don't give up, okay? Let's move on to rising. Seven of Cups. I mentioned it was coming through. I like what they did in this particular illustration, which is basically divining tea leaves, reading tea leaves. You shouldn't have to get to that point if there's a project or an opportunity. It should be clearer than it is. So getting the clarification that you need in order to take the next step. And this happens, of course, through just asking a question. What do you mean? Or how about this? This is also making sure that you're giving yourself time to explore options before signing on the dotted line, since at the center we did have that Ace of Swords reversed. So it's making sure that you understand everything, you ask the necessary questions, then and only then do you want to sign on the dotted line. Finally, since we have the wonderful High Priestess energy coming through, making sure that you pay attention to dreams, to intuitions, to signs, and to symbols as they come through. Finally, we have the Eight of Swords. I mentioned that when I was looking at the Rose Garden. And this is just a different version of the Eight of Swords, but it makes sense that it came through. The Eight of Swords is sometimes a prison of thought. So I like what they did on this card. We see a raven or crow that is in what looks like a prison, but if it were to look up or just to step out, it would be free. So the message here is, I can't or it won't become full stops if you keep saying or thinking them. Why can't I? How can I? When will I? These are the sort of things that you want to look at when you approach some sort of a cognitive or mental block. And you can ask others, how did you solve this? Or what do you think I can do about this? It's getting second opinions. Don't stop or sit too long with that energy of can't, won't, never, because it is definitely the prison of thought that we don't want you into in this moment in time. Spread your wings, explore the possibilities, take a step out of your comfort zone, something I just talked about in a daily reading. That's going to be important too, because when you go somewhere that you haven't before, it's like all cylinders start to fire and you're just more awake, more aware, and you can start to create breakthroughs. Let's look at the final question and final card for today. The way that this works is if there's one additional thing that I haven't covered but you still need clarity on, I've got you covered. Go ahead and put that question out to the universe, close your eyes, and let's see what Spirit has to say with respects to that. All right, we have the World card coming through. Yes, it's reversed, but it's still very, very positive. So a reversed World card can actually show the speed with which things are happening are unexpected, and you may feel unprepared. It's okay. It's okay to feel that way, but if something came into your trajectory and it's good and you did the work, which I see in the cards, that is the case, don't discount just because the timing is sooner than you thought. Now is a time to really give yourself a chance to take a leap of faith, okay? There could be a significant change happening in your life, a new person coming in, a new job, a change of physical location, a positive change, possibly in wealth or in health. The change is happening, and this is really just about accepting and embracing that change. The only thing you want to avoid is limiting potential. So this is a limitless card or a card that shows expansion. So when you start to constrain or constrict it, that's when you get into trouble. So think about all of the possibilities. Don't limit what you think you can do just because you've never done it before. Allow yourself to think, why not, what if, etc. Okay? For those in business, this is associated with publication, distribution, broadcasting. You might want to start with a test audience or a smaller audience and then go big. So what I see here is get your confidence first and really kind of find a way to iron out the wrinkles, and then it feels like you're going to hit the ground running. Okay? That's everything. It was a great reading overall, Libra, and I really love that there's a power of 2 coming through with the 2 aces, the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Wands, and we saw a successful opportunity coming around and the Wheel of Fortune coming through in the near future. Okay? Wheel of Fortune and an opportunity. I like it. All right, folks, if you enjoyed this reading, do me a favor. It's 100% free. It helps me. It helps the channel. Subscribe. Plus, you'll get to know when I do future videos, so it helps everybody. Also, hit the like button on the video and leave a comment. Let me know what really connected with you on an intuitive level. I also occasionally will just do an impromptu reading like I did this past week. So follow me on social media. That way, if you happen to be on Instagram, Facebook, etc., when I decide to do it, you'll get a notification there as well. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, no exceptions on all these major platforms listed here. You can always go to my website for additional clarification. And keep in mind, I don't offer private readings. I'm not going to message you and ask for things. So if people are doing that kind of behavior, you know it's not me. If you want to show love and support, it's optional, but it does help me continue to show up and do different types of videos and do different podcasts and things of that nature. So you can give a super sticker, super chat, or become a member. And I just want to say thanks for anybody that decided to do that. And that, my friends, is everything for today. Much love and light. Thank you so much for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. I hope you got a lot out of this, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care, Libra.